Have you ever noticed that there are moments when you just want to reach out to someone? Maybe you pick up your phone, start scrolling through your contacts. You think, who can I call? And if no one answers, maybe you turn on an audiobook, a podcast, YouTube, music, the news, anything to fill the silence. I know that feeling well. For years, I thought I simply loved talking to people on the phone. And I do. I'm a people person. I love deep conversations and I love meaningful relationships. I love hearing people's stories. I love feeling connected. But one day I asked myself a different question. What am I actually looking for? Because there's a difference between enjoying connection and needing connection. That question changed everything for me. And today I want to explore it with you because I think many of us mistake the symptom for the need. The phone call isn't the need. The conversation isn't the need. Those are simply ways we've learned to meet a deeper emotional need. So let's dig into it. When I really paid attention, I realized this pattern had been with me since I was a teenager. Whenever I felt uncomfortable, whenever I felt uncertain, whenever I had free time, whenever I felt lonely, I looked for someone to connect with. Not just anyone, certain people. People who made me feel alive. People who I could spend hours talking with. And then I realized something. I wasn't necessarily escaping loneliness. I was chasing a feeling. And maybe you've done the same thing. Think about someone who you absolutely love talking to. What happened inside of you after the conversation? Do you feel lighter, calmer, more hopeful, more inspired, more understood? If that's true, then maybe the conversation wasn't what you were actually seeking. Maybe you were seeking the feeling the conversation created. That's an important distinction because if you only know how to access those feelings through another person, you'll always feel something is missing when they're not available. So I created a simple exercise. Instead of asking, who should I call? I started asking, what am I hoping this conversation will give me? Then I asked myself 9 questions. Did I want to feel seen, understood, inspired, safe, calm, expanded, accepted, less alone, more hopeful? Those questions became a mirror because suddenly I wasn't focused on another person. I was focused on understanding myself. And what surprised me the most was the answers were almost always the same. I wasn't looking for entertainment. I wasn't looking to kill time. I was looking for emotional nourishment. After paying attention for a while, I realized there were 4 feelings that kept showing up over and over again. I wanted to feel seen, understood, expanded, and less alone. Those 4 became my emotional compass. Whenever I wanted to call someone, I asked, which one of these am I looking for right now? That changed everything because instead of automatically reaching outward, I became curious. Curiosity creates freedom. Sometimes I realized that I need to feel seen, so I journal honestly instead of performing for other people. Sometimes I needed to feel understood. Instead of expecting someone else to understand me, I practiced understanding myself. Sometimes I wanted to feel expanded. That didn't require another person. Sometimes a great book expanded me. Sometimes nature expanded me. Sometimes music expanded me. Sometimes singing expanded me. Sometimes creating expanded me. Sometimes I just simply needed to remember who I was becoming. And sometimes I just simply didn't want to feel alone. That one was interesting because loneliness isn't always about physically being alone. Sometimes you're surrounded by people and still feel very lonely. And sometimes you're completely by yourself, yet feel deeply connected to life. I used to think healing meant not needing people anymore. I don't believe that now. Healthy people need people still. Connection is a part of being a human. The goal isn't isolation, the goal is freedom. I don't want to need people to regulate every emotion that I have. I want to choose connection, not depend on it. Here is a huge difference. Need says, I can't be okay until someone answers. Freedom says, I love talking to you, but I'll be okay either way. That is emotional maturity. One thing I've learned is that every habit is trying to solve a problem. The question isn't, how do I stop calling people? The better question is, what problem has this habit been solving for me? And maybe it helps you to survive childhood. Maybe it gave you comfort during difficult seasons in your life. Maybe the connection became your safe place. If so, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to shame yourself. You simply get curious because curiosity heals what criticism never can. These days, I still love deep conversations, probably more than ever, but something has changed. Something has shifted. I don't panic when people aren't available. Actually, I never really panicked when people were unavailable. It's just that I would just continue to search until I found someone that was available. But I don't immediately search for someone to fill the silence. Sometimes I sit with myself. Sometimes I sing. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I pray. Sometimes I go for a walk. Sometimes I simply breathe. And I discover that the peace that I thought another person was going to give me was already waiting on the inside of me. That has been one of the greatest gifts of my journey. So today, I want to leave you with a few questions. The next time you reach for your phone, or whatever vice or thing that maybe you have identified that you are using externally when you should be connecting with yourself, I would like for you to pause. Ask yourself, what am I really looking for? Am I looking to feel seen? Am I looking to feel understood, inspired, safe, calm, expanded, accepted, less alone, or more hopeful? Then ask yourself, is there another healthy way that I could experience that feeling today? Maybe the answer is another person, and that's okay. But maybe, just maybe, you'll discover what you've been searching for outside of yourself has quietly been growing inside of you all along. If this conversation has resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Which feeling do you find yourself searching for most often? Seen? Understood? Safe? Hopeful? Tell me in the comments. Or tell me in the comments if you enjoyed the message. And if you know someone who always feels the need to stay connected, send them this video, because this can also apply to social media or any addiction. It might help them to understand themselves in a whole new way. Until next time, keep loving life, keep growing, and remember, the deepest relationship you'll ever build is the one that you have with yourself.